Your phone tracks your searches, your locations, your purchases. But what happens when it stops just responding to you and starts actually thinking and acting for you?
Yeah, that's the massive shift we're looking at.
Right, because today, for this deep dive, we are looking at an excerpt from The Rise of the Intelligent Digital Brain. And the mission here is to explore this near-term reality where your smartphone stops being, just a passive piece of glass in your pocket and fundamentally transforms into an autonomous digital brain.
Exactly.
And I got to say, in preparing for this, I found myself oscillating wildly between being completely in awe of the engineering and genuinely terrified at the implications. I mean, we're moving headfirst into the era of 100% AI-controlled smartphones.
Well, that oscillation between awe and terror is really the only logical response when you look at the mechanics of what's happening.
Right.
To grasp the magnitude of this, you really have to look at the historical baseline. For the entire history of consumer computing, we've operated under a paradigm of manual human decisions.
Yeah, we push the buttons.
Exactly. The machine has always been a subservient tool just waiting for a trigger. You provide a specific input like a keystroke, a screen tap, and it outputs a specific result.
Right.
What's fascinating here is that we are transitioning into an era of delegated autonomy.
Delegated autonomy.
Yeah. You're no longer providing the step-by-step instructions. You are providing an end goal, and the system dynamically figures out the how across dozens of complex variables entirely on its own.
Which is wild because, we're all suffering from app fatigue right now. And this new paradigm is basically the cure that completely kills the disease. But before we get into how these digital brains actually operate, we need to acknowledge the casualty here, right? The death of the app.
Oh, absolutely. The siloed software model is dead.
Yeah, the model we've used for, a decade and a half? It's being replaced by the AI agent.
Yeah.
And if millions of us are suddenly outsourcing our cognitive load, the companies building the infrastructure are going to have to pivot overnight. Apple, Google, they can't just sell us grid-based screens of little square icons anymore.
Well, because the concept of an app is fundamentally a bottleneck. Think about the API limitations between these walled gardens.
Like how my calendar doesn't talk to my airline app.
Exactly. Your calendar can't natively talk to your airline app, which can't talk to your banking software. So it forces the human user to act as the manual bridge.
Right. We have to copy and paste everything.
Yeah. But the AI agent operates at the operating system layer. It acts almost like a ubiquitous digital cursor. It leverages these things called large action models, or LAMs.
Or LAMs.
Right. And they effectively read the screen state and execute clicks via API hooks in the background. It traverses those walled gardens seamlessly, so you just don't have to.
Okay, so it's like we currently treat our phones like a massive ring of keys.
Yeah.
Right? We need a specific key, an app, to unlock every specific door we want to walk through. But the AI agent acts like a master skeleton key that negotiates with the building manager while you're still in your car.
That's a great way to put it.
You don't even have to walk up to the doors.
Yeah.
Think about planning a vacation today. From the source text, you are the manual bridge. You open a browser, research destinations, bounce to a flight aggregator.
It's exhausting.
It really is.
Yeah.
You manually cross-reference the flight times with your calendar, copy-paste the details into a hotel app. But with an agent, the whole operational phrase changes. Instead of opening apps, your new user command is simply handle it.
Handle it, yeah.
You just say, plan my vacation to Japan, and the agent parses your intent, checks your bank balance, books the flights, reserves the hotels, and generates an itinerary. It's like we've been driving manual cars for 15 years, and suddenly we're just handed a personal chauffeur.
Right. And what's fascinating here is the mechanism of continuous learning that actually powers that handle it command. Well, it doesn't just execute a raw search. A true agent understands your historical context. By processing your ambient data over time, it already knows you strongly prefer aisle seats, for instance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It knows you have a bias for boutique hotels over massive chains, and it knows you absolutely refuse to take flights before 8 a.m.
Thank goodness for that.
Right. And it factors all of those undocumented preferences into the execution process in a matter of milliseconds.
Okay, I see the appeal of having a personalized digital chauffeur. That sounds amazing. But wait, handing over the keys is inherently scary.
Oh, for sure.
What does 100% control actually mean in practice? Because if I say handle my Japan trip, I do not want my phone swiping my credit card for an unrefundable $8,000 luxury suite without me vetting it first. There has to be a friction point, right?
There is, but it's a sliding scale.
Okay.
This implies a spectrum of trust that the system actively works to build over time. Like in the initial phases of adoption, the agent prepares the complex itinerary and then pauses.
To ask permission.
Exactly. It prompts you for a biometric confirmation before authorizing the final transaction. But as the underlying large action models map your financial boundaries, your risk tolerance, your aesthetic preferences, the system just requires less supervision.
So it eventually just knows what I would approve anyway.
Right. Eventually, 100% control means the execution becomes entirely invisible to you.
Yeah.
You give the command, and the logistics are simply solved.
Bam! Here's where it gets really interesting, though. If we are removing the user from the execution phase, we have to look at how this digital brain operates without us, like, physically touching the screen.
Yeah, the mechanics rely heavily on predictive intelligence.
Meaning it anticipates what I want.
Exactly. The phone isn't just reacting to the handle it command anymore. It is anticipating the need for action before you consciously articulate it. It shifts the device from a reactive tool to a proactive partner.
Give me an example.
So it relies on contextual graphing. By continuously analyzing your location data, your calendar, your communication cadence, the system builds a probabilistic map of what you need next.
Okay.
Like 10 minutes before a critical meeting, it has already pulled the relevant PDF from your cloud storage, cross-referenced it with emails from the attendees, and just generated a bulleted list of talking points right on your screen.
It just does the prep work for you?
It anticipates the cognitive requirement of the meeting and handles it.
But wait, it moves beyond just suggesting those talking points into auto execution, right?
Yes.
Like it actually starts taking the actions on your behalf. The source mentioned the system recognizing an invoice in your inbox, verifying it against your typical utility usage, and then just paying the bill automatically.
Right, or aggressively filtering your incoming communications, not just for spam, but for relevance, and then actually replying to emails using your exact tone of voice.
Okay, wait. To replying in my tone.
Yeah, that's the function of hyperpersonalization. The digital brain builds what we call a semantic footprint.
Semantic footprint.
Right. It isn't just analyzing the words you use. It's mapping your syntactic structures, your pacing, your level of formality, your emotional cadence across thousands of historical interactions.
That is insane.
It learns the subtle differences in how you construct a sentence for your manager versus how you text a close friend.
Okay, but if the AI maps my semantic footprint and starts auto-replying to my boss,
Yeah.
what happens when the large language model hallucinates? Like, what if it uses the sarcastic, dismissive tone I reserve exclusively for my siblings?
Well, yeah, that is the risk.
Right, because if my phone is a digital clone, do people on the receiving end even know they are talking to me, or are they just going to be deeply offended by a rogue algorithm?
And that right there is the primary friction point of automated communication. The agent has to dynamically adjust its parameters based on the recipient's metadata.
Okay.
But if it misjudges the relationship context, the social fallout is entirely on you.
Because I authorized the agent.
Precisely. But assuming the model performs correctly, the answer to your question is no. The people on the receiving end will likely have no idea they're interacting with an AI.
Wow.
The interaction is designed to be completely seamless. You are essentially deploying an optimized, highly efficient representation of yourself to handle the social logistics you just don't have the bandwidth for.
So if we are deploying these optimized versions of ourselves, the physical interface we use to communicate with the device has to change, right?
Oh, completely.
Like we can't be hunting and pecking out a piece of glass if the machine operates at the speed of thought. The visual menus and keyboards, they're going away.
The QWERTY keyboard is just an archaic bottleneck.
Right. So we're looking at a massive shift toward voice-based interaction, spatial gestures, and ultimately brain-computer interfaces.
Yeah, it's a slow, physically demanding way to translate human cognition into machine action, typing is. By removing the need to type and bypassing visual app interfaces entirely, you interact with the digital brain at the speed of your spoken word.
And what about the brain-computer interfaces?
Well, we aren't just talking about distant sci-fi implants anymore.
Okay, God.
Right. We are looking at near-term, non-invasive EEG wearables that read motor cortex signals.
You're kidding.
No. Seriously, you won't even need to speak the command. The hardware will register your intent to act, and the agent will execute it. You won't search anymore. You will simply intend.
Okay, let's unpack this, because now we really need to weigh this almost magical level of convenience against the massive operational risks. We're looking at a profound divide here between the utopian upside and the dystopian downside.
Yeah, the duality is stark. The
Oh,
benefits on the utopian side are staggering, particularly regarding human productivity.
sure.
When you completely eliminate the friction of digital logistics, like the hours spent booking, sorting, replying, navigating nested menus, you free up massive amounts of cognitive bandwidth.
Which lets us focus on what actually matters.
Exactly. It allows the human brain to reallocate its energy toward high-level strategy, deep creative work, complex emotional decisions, rather than just mundane, repetitive execution.
And think about the accessibility here, too. I mean, this isn't just about making corporate workers more productive.
Right.
If my grandmother wants to get an Uber to a doctor's appointment today, she has to navigate a dense UI, understand surge pricing, drop pins on a tiny map, connect a credit card. It's a lot.
It's extremely hostile for non-tech users.
Exactly. But if all she has to do is speak into the room and say, get me a ride to the clinic at 2 p.m., and the digital brain handles the rest, that fundamentally democratizes technology. I mean, if you're listening to this right now, you might take your tech literacy for granted, but removing the interface barrier means no one gets left behind by complex software ever again.
That's true. But to help your grandmother so seamlessly, that AI agent requires an unprecedented, honestly invasive level of surveillance.
The dystopian downside.
Yes. It has to know her exact medical schedule, her physical mobility limitations, her real-time banking info, her geographical patterns.
Yeah.
For a digital brain to effectively act as you, it requires deep, unrestricted, 204/7 access to your personal conversations, your detailed finances, and your minute-by-minute behavioral data.
Which means the phone isn't a device anymore. It is the vault to your existence.
Exactly.
If someone picks the lock on your smartphone today, they might see some embarrassing photos, read your text, maybe steal a saved credit card number.
Right.
It's bad, sure, but it's contained
Right.
in this near future. If a bad actor gains access to your AI agent, they don't just steal your data, they steal you.
Yeah.
They gain total operational control of your digital life. They can execute authorized, authenticated actions seamlessly in your name, draining accounts, destroying reputations,
Yeah.
and the system fully believes it is following your orders.
The attack surface shifts completely from passive data theft to active identity hijacking.
That is terrifying.
It is, and the security infrastructure will have to rely on continuous biometric authentication like gait analysis, vocal recognition, retinal scanning, just to ensure the person giving the handle it command is actually you.
Constant surveillance, just to stay safe.
Pretty much. But beyond the sheer security nightmare, there is an equally profound psychological threat happening beneath the surface here.
What do you mean?
Well, this raises an important question about human agency in a hyper-automated world. If we hand over all of our daily friction to an AI, humans shift from being decision makers to merely decision supervisors.
Oh, and what happens to a supervisor who never actually does the work?
Right.
Like if I'm just rubber stamping the itineraries, the financial decisions, and the email replies that my AI agent generates, my own cognitive muscles are going to atrophy, right?
Precisely. The psychology of over-automation is really dangerous. When you constantly supervise rather than execute, your critical thinking weakens.
Because you're not practicing it.
Exactly. If the machine always knows the optimal driving route, the perfect social response, the most efficient financial maneuver, you lose the incentive to problem solve.
Wow.
The friction of daily life is actually what hones our resilience and our creativity. If we remove all friction, we risk becoming passive passengers in our own lives, entirely dependent on this black box algorithm to navigate the world for us.
And if millions of us suddenly transition into being passive passengers, the economic ripple effect is going to completely restructure the tech industry. I mean, the app economy is a massive global engine.
Oh, absolutely massive.
If the concept of the app dies because lambs are doing all the traversing for us, the millions of front-end developers building those isolated software silos are going to find their skills obsolete overnight.
Yeah. We will see entire sectors of the software industry decimated, and they'll be replaced by a frantic demand for AI infrastructure engineers.
So the money shifts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The capital will flow away from UI and UX design and consumer apps and pour directly into the foundational models and the hardware ecosystems that support them.
And the physical hardware has to evolve to match that, right?
Yes.
If we aren't tapping on glass screens, the smartphone itself becomes a completely different object. Like, the phone will likely just become a quiet, localized processing hub that just sits in your pocket, doing the heavy compute, while your physical environment becomes the interface.
Right.
We're talking about lightweight smart glasses that project the agent's actions into your field of view, discrete earpieces for audio feedback, and, those brain-computer interfaces we touched on earlier.
And as the hardware disappears into the background, the monetization strategy of these tech giants will pivot radically.
How so?
The business model transitions to the concept of the personal AI twin, that highly optimized digital clone we discussed.
Right.
And it will be delivered through subscription-based AI life
Wait,
management.
wait. I have to pause there because the implications of that are genuinely terrifying. A subscription model.
Yeah.
I might have to pay a monthly toll just to keep my life running smoothly.
Yeah.
Right now, if I cancel a streaming service, I just lose movies. But if I miss a payment on my life management subscription, does my digital twin just go on strike? Does my calendar collapse, my bills go unpaid, and my auto replies just stop functioning?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it makes ruthless economic sense for the companies building the infrastructure. We are seeing a fundamental shift from buying software as a static product to renting intelligence as a continuous service.
Renting intelligence.
Yeah. You are no longer paying for a physical device. You are paying a utility bill for cognitive labor.
Unbelievable.
And yes, because your daily efficiency becomes entirely reliant on that agent, lapsing on your subscription could effectively paralyze your digital operations. The companies will have you locked in.
Because it's too hard to leave.
Exactly. The switching costs of training a new AI twin from scratch would be devastating to your productivity. You are literally renting your own efficiency.
Which brings us to the most urgent part of this discussion, I think. Survival. If this transformation from a static device to a rented intelligent partner is already happening, what specific actionable steps can you listening right now take to prepare? How do you maintain your autonomy when the entire ecosystem is basically designed to make you dependent?
The first operational step is to actually lean into the technology rather than avoid it.
Wait, really? Lean in?
Yeah. You need to start aggressively using current generation AI tools and automation right now. Getting comfortable with how large language models parse prompts, how they hallucinate, how they execute tasks.
Yeah,
It builds the necessary fluency.
I guess that makes sense.
It is about learning the grammar of interacting with artificial intelligence before it becomes the mandatory operating system of your life.
Right, but while you're building that fluency, you have to lock down your data.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if this digital brain requires the keys to your vault to function, you have to become hyper-aware of your permissions. You need to scrutinize whether the AI agent you use processes your data locally on the device, or if it sends your entire semantic footprint and financial history to a cloud server.
Yes.
You have to read the fine print on who actually owns the biometric and behavioral data your digital twin is generating.
And that distinction between local on-device processing and cloud processing is going to be the major privacy battleground of the next decade.
No doubt.
But the most crucial step for maintaining your mental autonomy is learning to control the AI without depending on it. You have to actively fight the urge to let the system make the final call.
So you still use it?
Use the agent to do the heavy lifting, yeah. Have it generate the options, sort the data, build the itinerary, but force yourself to make the final evaluation.
You have to intentionally inject friction back into your own life.
Exactly. Do not let the convenience erode your ability to analyze a situation independently. If you feel yourself blindly rubber stamping the AI's suggestions, you're already losing your agency.
So what does this all mean for our human skill set? If the agent is going to handle the logistics, the coding, the data sorting, the routine communications, trying to compete with the machine on efficiency is just a losing battle.
Right, it's pointless.
So the best defense against being hollowed out by this technology is to double down on what is profoundly difficult to automate. We need to focus heavily on high-level strategic thinking, deep, chaotic creativity, and nuanced emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Those are the messy, unstructured domains where human beings still hold the ultimate advantage.
And remember, knowledge and awareness are only valuable when they are applied. Recognizing that this paradigm shift is happening is not enough. You must actively cultivate those human-centric skills and rigorously manage your relationship with these emerging tools.
You have to act on it.
Exactly. If you passively accept the frictionless convenience without putting in the deliberate work to maintain your cognitive edge, you will inevitably become a dependent passenger to your own digital brain.
Man. Okay, let's take a breath and zoom out here.
Sure.
We are standing on the precipice of a world where we abandon the screens and the apps we've relied on for years. We are moving into an era of large action models, traversing the digital world for us. Personal digital twins that mimic our every quirk, and a profound level of hyper-personalization where your device simply handles the logistics of your existence.
It is the final transition from a world of manual tools to a world of intelligent, autonomous, and potentially dangerous partners.
And thinking about all this, I want to leave you with something completely new to ponder. If our phones really do become these brilliant digital brains that absorb the burden of routine scheduling, memory recall, and daily problem solving, what happens to the biological brain sitting inside our own skulls?
It's a huge unknown.
Right. Are we going to see our actual minds undergo an evolutionary atrophy, slowly shrinking and losing capacity like a muscle we just stopped exercising? Or, by freeing up all that mental bandwidth, by outsourcing the mundane, will we unlock an entirely new level of human genius that we've never even had the time, the energy, or the focus to see before?
That is the ultimate question of the next century. The tool is evolving at an exponential rate. The question is whether the human intellect will evolve alongside it or silently fade behind it.
Wow. So as you go about the rest of your day swiping and tapping on your soon-to-be obsolete screens, ask yourself, are you ready to merge your life with a digital brain? Keep questioning the technology around you, keep questioning the convenience, and we will see you on the next deep dive.